Well, this is a difficult video. The title is Unfulfilled Promises Abound, and it's for November 5th, 2016. I've spent my life waiting for the fulfillment of promises, supposedly by God and many others. It breaks my heart to still be waiting. While I see revelations of horrendous corruption that affects all of humanity, I see very little in the way of remedy. For every promise of change, there are those who debunk it, and the evil continues. I have days when I feel encouraged, but reality bursts those bubbles of hope. Right now, in this moment, I feel very tired and frustrated. Some tell me to keep the faith. However, disappointment makes that a seemingly impossible task. I hope we never forget what we've had to endure, and it would be nice to get truthful answers. Indeed, I get many things sent to me from various friends around the world. Some of them are positive and some are very negative. One of the things that I read actually this morning that came to me from the Maine Republic email alert is that the news media, what is the name of it? I'm looking at the actual image of the picture and not the text is above it, and I don't want to go over that, but it's put out by the main news that provides the news for all of the TV stations and radio and stuff like that, especially the TV stations. And as of November 1st, they've already prepared the documentation for the election results. And Hillary Clinton wins the presidency with 41,765,317 votes, 42%, to Donald Trump's 40,124,438. And then Gary Johnson gets 8%, and others get 5%, and Jill Stein gets 5%. And of the Electoral College, 343 votes go to Hillary Clinton and 195 go to Donald Trump. And this is what's going to be reported supposedly in our mainstream media as the final results before the election even takes place. Do you understand why I get frustrated with the charade? I get reports like this one and others, some saying Donald Trump is going to win by a landslide. But as I've said before, if he wins by a landslide and we're still dealing with a corporate government, it means nothing. The corporate government is fraud. When are we going to get it through our heads that the corporate government at the national level, the state level, the county level, the city and town levels, all of these are fraud when they're corporatized, and all of our courts are corporatized. We don't have rights under corporate law. We are not seen as human beings under corporate law. Until we deal with that, everything else is meaningless. Yes, I got a report earlier today that Gasara and Nasara are going to be announced on the 4th, that's today, on the 4th of November. And they're going to be in effect, but with all of the stuff about Hillary, it's not going to be a big deal for people because most of the news is going to be focused on Hillary being arrested and stuff like that. That's what they're saying. Well, Hillary is going to be arrested, and she's also going to be winning the election, according to different sources. Now, with all of this confusion, can you understand why it's frustrating for me and others that try to tell the truth to the best of our ability. When we're getting information and disinformation, and sometimes it's hard to understand which is which. Some of it's obvious. Anything about Hillary, it's obvious. She's a criminal. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are criminals. Barack Obama is a criminal. The Bushes were are criminals. These are elements of criminality that abound tremendously. Who addresses the issue? Who takes care of the problem with the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and those that pay to buy the corruption? Who takes care of the demonic elements that are behind all of the corruption and all of the lies and all of the murder and theft? And it abounds. It abounds. Unfulfilled promises abound. Promises of equality, meaningless. Promises of liberation, meaningless. All of it is meaningless. I mean, Anna von Reich, she wants you to fill out paperwork, and I've filled out paperwork till I'm blue in the face. I didn't own my house. My house was in a non-statutory trust. They stole it anyway. They ignored the paperwork. Paperwork means nothing when you're dealing with a criminal element that ignores what truth is and wants to keep their own system in place, because that's how they are able to steal their money and steal their influence and be the top people on the totem pole, so to speak. And it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous world that we live in. It's an insane world. We live in an insane asylum, and the most insane, the most corrupted individuals are the ones in charge of the asylum. Now, does that make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me. You know, I think Donald Trump is the lesser of two evils in this election. Is he the answer? Absolutely, he's not the answer, not if the corporate government remains intact. Not if the new republic that's supposed to be instituted is actually just another facade of corporate control to give you the illusion that something real has changed. That's one of the messages that I'm getting from certain individuals. And all of these messages tend to confuse even someone like me, who has been dedicated since I was in my youth to telling the truth to the best of my ability and to seeking answers and to seeking how to build bridges. How do you build bridges how do you connect people of the lie with people that are wanting to be truthful and have integrity? How do you do it when you're dealing with individuals and beings that have no integrity? Their only game plan is to kill and to steal and to destroy. That's the situation that we live in. And it's an impossible task, as I said in the blurb, to remedy this without some kind of divine intervention. Now, if there's no divine intervention, we do need to reestablish the principles of not democracy, but of a republic where the government serves the people by mandate, not the other way around. People owe no allegiance to a government that's established by fraud. None. And yet the allegiance is forced. It's not really allegiance. It's just forced servitude. And it reeks, folks. When are we going to wake up? If we could wake up, if we could claim our divine heritage, we could turn the world around. But most people, including the people in the churches that should know better, they obey their 501c3 and they get nothing done. Anyway, I see my 10-minute time limit is almost up. So I'm going to say on that note, thank you for listening and namaste.